Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today. We start another day as far as the markets are concerned. We are bang in the middle of the big budget trading week as well. Remember, yesterday, after 2 days of sell off, we did see a relief rally play out in the markets. We opened up gap up about 131 points higher. In fact, we moved up during the course of the day above 23,100 as well at one point in time. But of course, profit booking did come into shape, and towards the end of the session, the Nifty slipped back below 23,000, but managed to end about half odd percent higher in trade. It was the Nifty Bank and the banking financial names together that pulled up the markets, and this was right after the RBI took some liquidity measures that propped up the banking and the rate sensitive sectors. Even the real estate and the auto sectors were doing very well in yesterday's trading session in hopes of a rate cut coming in into the next policy decision, which will happen on February 7th, right after the union budget. Now, as we move into closing into trading session today, again we will be looking at the global cues. Remember, overnight we've seen Wall Street end higher. We've also seen some of the Asian markets which are open today. Some of them are still shut on the lunar holiday account, but there is a positive sentiment that's flowing in. Gift Nifty is also indicating a positive start yet again for today. But remember, it was the broader markets that continued to be a pain even in yesterday's recovery, and we'll see how that one also plays spot. Of course, globally we'll be looking at triggers. There's the FOMC meeting that will come out with the Fed decision, and that will be important to watch out for between today and tomorrow. And of course, the expiry session is coming in close, so we'll have to see how the series expiry will take shape, and of course the big budget that will take place on 1st of February. So those are the important cues that we are all going to be tracking for all of our viewers. Let's welcome our guest on board. We have Mr. Gaurang Shah, Senior Vice President at Geojit Financial Services, now joining in with his views on the markets. Warm welcome to you, Gaurang. It's great to have you with us. Well, right, a few days ahead of the budget. So far, there's no pre-budget rally that we've seen this time around. But do you sense somehow that this budget could probably bring back the glorious days of the markets yet again?
Well, thank you so much, Sakshi, for having me on this show. Morning to all of you all. So, my sense is that, after a prolonged pause in terms of real strong reforms, this time around on 1st of Feb, this Saturday, this week, I guess there should be something more than we normally see in the budget by the Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji, and primarily because I think what has happened across the globe, especially after 20th of Jan 2025, when the so-called very intelligent President of United States of America was sworn in as 47th President of America, and the things that he have said before the outcome of the election, tax cuts, increase in tariffs, bringing in world global peace as an ambassador, bringing down crude oil prices, his latest statement, I think day before yesterday. I think this will be in focus. I think if not earlier, then post 20th of Jan, and the commentary and the statements and the behavior may possibly make the government to rethink its strategy and possibly bring in more reforms. So my sense is that taking further on to the Made in India theme, making Indian corporates more competitive enough in domestic and global arena, uh, budgetary spend and defense, infrastructure, power, and of course, railways. This is what I believe will be the focus, like most of the budget. But pushing consumption to the next level, not only in urban tier 2, tier 3 cities, but also in the semi-urban and rural India. So this is the general, view as far as the budget is concerned, and I'm quite sure that the finance minister will also be doing walking the path of fiscal discipline, Sakshi. I think put all this together, let's hope that the budget gets delivered on expected lines.
Absolutely, Gaurang. Point noted there, but I also wanted to extend this a little bit to understand we are all pinning our hopes on the budget. Say, even if the government does give in into those tax breaks that we are looking forward to, does some steps to boost consumption and to put money in the hands of the common people as well, will that be enough to pull the Nifty out of this long consolidative range that we've been looking at? 4 months of a consolidation and correction. We are down, what, 3,500 points from the all time highs on the Nifty. I mean, mid caps and small caps are just near the bear territory as well. 15% down for the mid caps, 17% lower for the small caps from the all time highs. Will it be enough to pull the Nifty back and put it back onto the upward trajectory, or will there be much more needed even beyond the budget?
So the view that I just mentioned right now, Sakshi, was purely based on the budget. It had nothing to do with the markets. Budgets can make and break the markets. We've seen it in the past. But over the last couple of years, Sakshi, I think it is just one-off trigger. Unless until the budget has something extraordinary on the positive side or extra disappointing on the negative side. Uh, for markets to possibly give you stability, I think that's more important, Sakshi, according to me. And and for that, I think your India VIX has to settle down sub 13, which is at 17 or 17.5 yesterday. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the sell side number from the FI. Though domestic guys have been selling, but FIs have been relentlessly selling in the markets. But I think in the excess of 1,60,000 crores or plus that kind of a number. And the domestic guys have bought short of 10,000 or 15,000 crores of the sell side figure from the FIs. Earnings, for the love of God, Sakshi, has been better. There may be one or two disappointment here and there, but overall, when you compare Q2 and Q3, whatever we've seen up till now, that has been positive. So I think we will take a leaf out of this and look at it from a positive angle. And don't forget, after the recent correction, the percentage-wise fall on the index is somewhere close to about 14%. Again, I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. So, things are looking now. Whether budget will, see, if it disappoints Sakshi, it will be maybe for 2-3 days and will stabilize. We've seen this in the past also. On the day of the budget, our markets are sold off, and next day we realized that okay, we forgot to read in between the fine print and in between the lines, and then rational sank upon us, and then we stabilized. So whether this budget will be good enough to stabilize, well, that only we can know on Saturday. But for me, I think FI sell side number, India VIX volatility has to kind of come down.
Hmm. Okay. Gaurang, I also wanted to ask you on something that has been shaking the world for the last 2 days. DeepSeek, this new Chinese AI model that has suddenly become the talk point of the town. Suddenly, the Nvidias of the world were being seen as something that will shatter. I mean, like one day, $600 billion gone, even though overnight, we've seen about 8-9% of a recovery come in. One really needs to understand, what does it do to the large AI universe, the big tech giants of the world, and does it have any implications for Indian IT companies? I mean, there were some discussions as to why Anant Raj or a NetWeb Technologies were under pressure. Are we really seeing a pressure because of DeepSeek here in domestic IT firms?
Well, honestly, Sakshi, you know me. I've been way away from these apps and the social media of the world, and this. So for me, it's an alien word, and anything that comes out from China, I I just discount it upfront 100% because I have no reason to verify the credibility of that news flow, and the source of information is very limited. So this deep seek or deep blue sea or any other deep thing will not really bother me. And let's face it, this is the AIs and the Gen AIs that we are looking at. Maybe to counter this, there will be something else that will be coming. Who knows? Because this is an ever evolving and developing platform. So I will not give much of importance. I think it's just a passing shower. And then we'll see the sunshine.
We'll see the sunshine. Okay, got that. So that's as far as the talk and the hullabaloo around DeepSeek is concerned, probably this will also turn out to be something that one can ignore and move on into the long-term investment story. Okay, then Gaurang, tell us, once the budget trigger plays out, and we're now hoping that the rate cut will also come in. Do you think that is going to be important one as well to watch out for beyond the budgets on 7th of Feb, with the liquidity measures taken out? Was this being seen as a precursor to the rate cut that could happen? Is that why banks, autos, realty stocks are again buoyant in trade?
Well, I not only because of that, Sakshi, I will give more credibility to the earnings because most of the banks that delivered the earnings
Yeah,
was good enough, including the disappointments in second quarter, likes of Kotak and IndusInd Bank.
yeah, yeah.
They delivered a good set of numbers. So I will give more credibility to the earnings. Of course, the expectation is rising. Let me put it this way. And if it happens, then I think we will have wind beneath our wings to fly much higher, and it will be in form of both hoping that the budget is good and hoping that the first initiative from the RBI under the recommendation of MPC does the rate cut. So I mean there is, but I think we have to keep one thing in mind. Uh, the earlier governor, Mr. Das, and the Monetary Policy Committee, and the new governor, and the members of Monetary Policy, there is one very important thing that we'll look at, and that is inflation number. If inflation
Mm.
is not going to come down, and if it's going to play tantrums along with Trump's tantrums, then definitely that is going to create a little bit of concern. But there is hope, there is expectation. Let's see how it pans out.
Right. So, like you pointed out, that the earnings have been largely coming in well, at least from the large private sector banks. If I were to ask you, is there already a pecking order that you're looking at? I mean, ICICI Bank also came out with the earnings. Axis Bank has been doing very well as well. Kotak, you already mentioned. How are you looking to deploy funds, or do you think it's going to be across the board that the recovery will come in together?
Okay, so sorry, Axis was a disappointment third quarter and the stock corrected, and then now it's
Hmm.
recovering.
Hmm.
So, whether it's good earnings, bad earnings, market does what it has to do, rewarding and punishing the stocks actually. In
Hmm.
terms of opportunity, and in fact, I'll go to the extent to say that if you have a portfolio, then I think a decent amount of that portfolio exposure is a must and given to the banking and finance. Make it a part of your portfolio because your earnings they are improving. Credit growth is will come through. Our aspiration is to become the next $1 trillion economy. Our
Yeah.
aspiration is also to become a large manufacturing hub, and all this will not. And of course, the domestic capex that is going through. So all this is not going to happen in air. Sakshi, you are going to need liquidity. You are going to need credit, a line of credit. You are going to need funding, etc., etc. So, I'll give weightage, balanced weightage, both to public as well as private sector banks.
Got that. Let's talk a little bit more stocks now. And I want to take some of your views right there now that the pre-open rates are settling in for the markets. Gaurang, first up, the stock that we are watching out for today is ITC. With ITC hotels, probably listing coming through. How are you going to be looking at both ITC and ITC hotels for the new and retail investors now looking at both these stocks as well as shareholders?
So, as a consolidated business, we were positive on ITC. We are positive even today on ITC. I think somewhere around 150 to 200. That could be the discovery. I mean, this is just a wild guess, Sakshi. Not that I know a little bit more into this, but it's
Right.
just a wild guess. And maybe, on ITC, with the minus the hotel business, we have target of in excess of 545 or 550. I stand to be
Okay.
corrected over there, but yeah, we are positive on ITC also.
All right, positive on IEC, and that's how you should be really looking at both these stocks right there. Earnings that have been coming in. So let's look at some of those. Your favorite sector, Gaurang, auto space, and we did see Bajaj Auto came out with the numbers yesterday as well. Do tell us what's really looking good here in terms of the earnings that have already come through. And many are expected also to come in the next few days. The likes of Maruti from the four-wheeler space as well. Aisha, we have discussed a lot in the past as well. How would you really play around the auto story now? Looking at whether or not this finds any kind of favor in the budget, the standalone story of auto.
So we continuously have been positive. Even today we are positive, and incidentally, the day the budget is, we'll also have the month-on-month sales numbers from the auto
Yeah.
sector. Uh, Minus Escorts, Kubota, we remain positive on largely most of the stocks, including pure EV play, commercial buses, Electra Green Tech, and of course, likewise others. And my sense is that we are going to see whole host of new launches for this year and coming year. Bharat Auto Expo was testimony to
Yeah.
those launches that I'm talking about. And I think we are going to see the next uh, gen technology in auto. People,
Hmm.
I mean, I was reading a report day for yesterday, Sakshi, that there are some companies which have already started to test run on green hydrogen.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a big game changer as well.
Okay, understood that. So that's as far as how the auto story is likely to play out as well. Also wanted to ask you the other rate sensitive real estate sector at large. What is your approach here? I mean, we have seen, a few years of outperformance come through. Many stocks have doubled investors' money in the recent run up as well. Will it have more steam from here on as well, even if the rate cuts are going to come through? Will that be a fresh trigger, or do you think a large part of the enthusiasm is already priced in?
Well, so budget is also a platform where they expect things to reason out and iron out a little bit as far as the real estate sector is concerned, including the tremendous push that the government is trying to do for affordable housing and housing for all. However, I don't feel personally that that has taken off to that level which the government anticipated. So I think there will be a little bit of more additional positive tweaking and necessary policy changes to enable uh, this affordable housing and housing for all to go to the next level. Resolving issues of the real estate companies which they face state-wise and of course centrally. Uh, Possibly maybe some changes to excite an individual to actually go and own a house, and of course making viable policies for this particular sector. So that's the assumption. But yeah, I mean, we are positive. Unfortunately, we've seen sell off in the sector. It had run up also, Sakshi. Let us not just look at one side of the coin.
Sure.
The run up and it's correcting. So one company that we like over here right now is the Prestige Estates on the positive side.
Okay, okay, got that. So those are the few stocks that you're also looking at there. Gaurang, we'll come back to the budget theme. And some of the sectors that we've actually seen and discussed so many times over, defense and railways. Will there be any kind of an upside if the government really announces big outlay plans, which has to be the case? I mean, we cannot function without expanding these two. So every budget has to have, if not a huge or an exuberant amount, but definitely a progressive outlook on development on infra. And these are the two sectors that definitely have to be seeing some mention in the budget. How would you approach defense and railways?
Again, continuously maintaining a positive stance on both these sectors, Sakshi.
Hmm.
And not only budget, you look at the orders that these companies, BEL, I think day before
Yes.
yesterday received. Today there is some news on L&T also. Before that, Bharat Dynamics received an order. Before that, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Before that,
Yeah.
Mazgaon Docks. Before that, Garden Reach Builders. So, these order flows are not going to stop for these companies for the next many, many years. And government will do all its capable and whatever necessary in its capacity to really uh, reinforce the confidence in the railways and the defense sector. Remember one thing: if we were a large import-based country as far as our requirements was concerned for defense,
Yeah.
and now slowly, steadily that is coming down, and it will come down much further. And we will not only be self-reliant, but we'll also be exporting to the other countries. So that's going to be a big opportunity for the defense-related sector. Railways is an ongoing process. Railways, with the kind of modernization, with the kind of laying of tracks, connectivity, resolving last mile connectivity, uh, along with passengers focusing on freight because that's also a huge income for the railways, and of course enabling comfort travel for the passengers, modernization of railway station, modernization of trains, Vande Bharat, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, bullet train, beat, dedicated freight corridors. So it's an ongoing process. My only request is don't look at this sector from 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 year kind of time horizon.
Right.
But 3 to 5 years.
Got that. We'll look at the opening levels. 23,000 is with us right at the opening tick, 0.3% higher on the Nifty. The Nifty Bank is opening 48,970 odd levels, 0.2% of an uptick for this one as well. The good part is that the mid caps and the small caps are also opening into the green. You also have the Nifty IT stocks up about 0.8% odd. So that's lending the support as well. The advances are 1,031 to 630 declines as far as the NSE listed stocks are concerned. So we are definitely looking at a positive uptick right there. Let's look at some of the key stocks that you could be looking at in sectors: banks, financials, PSU stocks, metals, FMCG, IT. They're all in the green. Barring the PSU banks, remember yesterday they were doing very well. Flattish trade with a negative bias here, and metals and realty also just about flat with a negative bias. But ITC, let's look at the stock there, 0.4% higher. Remember the ITC Hotels is listing today. That's the stock that you're looking at in the early morning trading session. Bajaj Auto opening higher with the earnings coming through. You also have Cipla as one of the gainers post the earnings, and of course Infosys within the IT pack that's opening about 1.25% higher in trade. Bajaj Auto now driving further, 2.3% up right there. 8600 is with us as far as Bajaj Auto is concerned. But which are the top loser? You have BPCL, HDFC Life, and NTPC as some of the stocks which are on the declining side as the early morning trading action is concerned. Let's look at some other stocks. Anant Raj, remember we were talking about the play on DeepSeek coming through again, another 4.5% uptick. Netweb Technologies also 4.5% uptick for this one. The IT stocks are definitely in focus because the index is up by about 0.9% odd. The stocks that are on the back foot today: Maruti, Grasim, Nestle, SBI, HUL. So some of those FMCG names are actually declining on the lower side. Okay, JSW Energy is slipping about 6% odd or so. But let's look at MGL. Earnings coming through 2% higher. BHEL, again, focus on the earnings, 4% higher. That's the earnings trade coming through in the first trade for all of you to really at this point in time. So results: Bajaj Auto, BHEL, they're both up in trade. But on the declining side, you have M&M Financial, SBI Cards, and JSW Energy as the stocks that are falling behind on the back of earnings. But GMR Airports Infra, Exide opening higher, MGL opening higher, Colgate opening higher on the back of results. But Bosch is slightly lower. In fact, now it's 4% lower in trade as well. NMDC, that's another stock that we're looking at about 1% higher. Capex plans of 70,000 crores in the next 5 years. So that's also going to be important to watch. Motilal Oswal declining about 2% on the results fact at this point in time. Banking gainers, you have AU Small Finance Bank, IndusInd Bank, and Axis Bank moving up. But JM Financial is down by 8.8% as well. What else is on the declining side? You have Apar Industries from the broader markets that's down by about 3.8 odd percent right here. So that's as far as how the opening is coming through. Let's get back to our conversation with Gaurang to see where exactly should one be really focusing on. Gaurang, what are you advising clients at this point in time? The investors' portfolios are reeling under pressure. Especially with their large focus on the mid and the small cap space right here. What is the best way to deal with this extreme volatility that we are facing on a day-to-day basis, and how to keep profits protected and yet not slip in or burn in their fingers in the current market scenario?
Sakshi, my only plain simple advice to all the investors, okay, I cannot advise traders because I'm not capable. But if you are an investor, there are very few one, two, three, four, five, six things you can do. First of all, give a deaf ear to the external noise pollution which is there in the markets, because that is going to possibly disappoint you to a great extent. Second is, be focused on your investments in fundamentally sound stocks. That is where there is going to be wealth creation. Investable amount, if you have from a long term point of view, cherry pick the stocks from your portfolio on which you have confidence and which are fundamentally sound, and allocate a little bit of more investable capital to it, and slowly steadily, I'm not saying put all your money at one time, but slowly steadily increase your investment into those stocks. uh, and look at the positivities in terms of the numbers which are going to come, which are coming through, and of course on the fundamental side, we are better off within the emerging market basket when it comes to the correction. And how much of corrections actually we have seen, I just mentioned, I think if the whatever correction we have seen below 23,000 on the Nifty spot, it comes to 14%. I mean, what is 14%? And given the kind of levels that we've seen on Sensex and Nifty, individually stocks, maybe they would have corrected more because they've rallied also like that. So,
Right.
look at this positivities and don't look at what's happening in the next 3 months, 6 months. I'm 110% sure that the first half of this calendar year 2025 will throw a lot of challenges at us. I don't deny that. But post that, my sense is that we will definitely stabilize and we will have our own strong positives and triggers to take the market and the economy to the next level.
Got that and understood. Fair point right there. And I'm sure all the viewers are going to be paying heed to all of this. And in this kind of a scenario, the best strategies that you can adopt. Let's look at a few stocks again. I'm going to be talking about the new age tech space again with you, Varang. Today, again, there is some uptick on Zomato, 210 back on the screen, but the stock had slipped closer to 200 as well. We've also seen post the earnings that Swiggy has also felt the heat of Zomato's, coming earnings coming through. Swiggy also intraday, I think, slipped below the issue price as well on an intraday level yesterday as well. How would you look at these two stocks right now? Why suddenly, from everybody going gung ho on Zomato and this entire space, there is some kind of probably a fear of just going all out and going these stocks at these current valuations and prices. What would you say?
Fear of competition and inability of these companies to possibly face that competition. We've heard Zapto coming up. We've heard Amazon coming and hitting this quick commerce. But I mean, we maintain a positive stance on Zomato as well as on Swiggy. Fact that it hit the below IPO price, and it's just close to that IPO price as we speak. We had a subscribe recommendation on both when Zomato IPO was there and when Swiggy IPO was there. So on Zomato, we have a standalone buy coverage. 280, 85 is the target. Earnings
Okay.
is likely to improve. Zomato, they were planning to add 2,000 dark stores by end of December 26. With the current run rate, they said that they will finish it off within December 25. So when you do this kind of a massive expansion, you have to invest in it, right? So you did invest right now to benefit out of it. And they very clearly understand the competition that is coming in. So you have to be prepared for it. Similarly, Swiggy, I think Swiggy, uh, below IPO or closer to IPO price, if you're a long-term investor, invested, stay invested. If not, keeping that IPO note as a base, I think you can definitely cherry pick. Don't forget, these were the two, companies which started off this, and they very well know what market competition is, what market is, and what they have to do.
Fair point right there. As far as the question on outlook is concerned, that retains long-term growth story. This is a developing space. Of course, competition will come in, and that's a no-brainer. But one has to really look through the long-term right there. Okay, there's one question coming in from one of our viewers, Gaurang. I thought I'll just put it across to you. This is Pawan from Bangalore. He says, is it the right time to buy silver ETF or gold ETF at the current prices for the next 6 months? Odd. I mean, like last time around, the budget did give us that customs duty cut that shot through the roof, the kind of prices that we saw for gold soon after. What is your own sense this time around? Are we going to go reverse on the customs duty there, or how's your expectation on what should one do on gold and silver investments?
Yeah, and I remember you had not asked my advice, but I had given you an advice to go and visit your family jeweler.
Yeah.
And the honorable finance minister had given you a gift on a golden platter when she cut that 6%, 6.5% custom duty. I still remember, Sakshi, we were in discussion. You were there, Shell was there.
Yeah.
Gold prices were about 72 or 73,000,
Yes.
fell to
Yes.
76 or 79,000, and today it is at 80,000. And we are speaking
Yes.
about what? Last month, last year, June, July, when the budget was there. And see the kind of return that you made. So, as a fundamental advisor, uh, one of the basic principles that I understand, Sakshi, is that you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Diversification is something that is one of the most important things when you allocate your capital to different asset classes. Be it equity, be it gold, be it debt, be it bank FD, be it PPF, or be it property. Property I don't understand, so I don't talk much about it because I have very limited knowledge about it. But
Right.
gold ETF, I mean precious metals, I think they are going to go up. So you need to be very careful about your age, your risk-taking capacity, the return that you want, and the time of investment, and act accordingly. Yeah, but diversification is a must.
Got that. Okay, it's time to bid you goodbye, Gaurang. But before I let you go, we're going to be meeting you on the budget day as well to see through as to whether our expectations have come through. Tell me one thing which could be a deal breaker and one thing which could be a deal maker in the upcoming budget.
So I think that wow. Honestly, Sakshi, I am one of the last person who expect anything out of budget, and I've learned it in a very difficult manner because I used to expect a lot, but then slowly, steadily, I realized that listen, bro, you can't expect the heaven and the star and the moon from the finance minister. Finance minister has to do justice. So my sense is that other than what I've spoken about, I think if she does something on the personal tax front uh, for enabling consumption, and of course for sentiments, and that security transaction tax, I think it is high time we do away with it. So these are the things that I would possibly look at. Other than that, I mean, I very humbly submit, I don't expect the budget.
Okay, got that, Gaurang. But yes, for sure, that tax and the personal income tax front is something that we are all waiting to see whether it'll happen. Well, thank you so much, Gaurang. It's always a pleasure to have you and to speak with you on varied sectors and outlook on the markets with the wealth of experience that you bring in. It really helps pump up a lot of the expectations, the confidence of our investors and viewers as well as to continuing their journey, even despite these all volatile terms that we see. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Sakshi. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, viewers, we'll get back to the markets and see how things are shaping up. Well, the Nifty Bank has slipped from the high point. We are seeing about a 0.4% of a fall from the day's high. It's turned absolutely flat at 48,870 right now. When you look at the Nifty also, it's flattened out at 22,980 odd levels at this point in time. When we're also looking at some of the other key segments in stocks, let's look at a few. We will be welcoming our guest on show, but let's look at some stocks that you could look at. Nestle, JSW Steel, Asian Paints, other stocks that are declining, but Bajaj Auto definitely moving higher. Hero Moto also moving up. You have TVS Motors that's also rallying. So it's the auto space that's definitely garnering our attention today, with some move coming in on the higher side. BHEL from the PSU space is definitely higher post the earnings, and there you see a strong move coming in. IT Pack is seeing some good returns as well. You're actually seeing Infosys in the thick zone too. So there you have it. BHL is on your screens. 2.4% higher post the earnings. It's going strong. Nifty IT index 1.5% strong, and that's the one that is in fact propping the markets higher in trade today. Let's also look at a few other stocks that we can track for all of you viewers. So we have TCS, HCL Tech. These are the stocks within the IT pack along with Infosys that's moving. What's creating some pressure? You have Reliance Industries as the heavyweight. You have ITC as the heavyweight. You have M&M. You have Tata Consumer Products as some of the heavyweights that are contributing on the lower end at this point in time. But autos, IT in the thick zone. You also have some banks doing fairly well. HDFC, Kotak Mahindra Bank, even the PSUs like SBI and Bank of Baroda. They're also in the a decent zone at this point in time, but we'll see how long can they continue to be, because we are seeing some dwindling of the gains as far as the Nifty bank is concerned at this point in time. Let's also look at some other counters that we can put out. Remember, Colgate post earnings is slipping. We had pointed out it still is in the lower end of the zone right now. And we do have Raghvendra Singh now joining in, market expert who usually you spot on daily calls as well, a favorite on that show. And welcome to you, Raghvendra, on our morning edition of Market Today after a fairly long time. Tell us, how are you sensing the opening in the markets today? Does that indicate a recovery is underway? We've seen again 23,000 again back on the screens today, but again there is a lot of volatility. What does one do?
Sakshi, very good morning. Sakshi, as far as Nifty is concerned, I think 22,800 has a very strong support from where Nifty has taken a strong bounce for at least 300 to 400 point. Now again, the event is coming on this Saturday. The finance ministry is going to present budget for 2024, 25, 25, 26. So now again, I'm expecting some more volatility in the near term till the budget. See, the thing is, 23,000 is a very strong resistance now. If we manage to sustain and close above this, then we can expect some short covering, because there is a strong, short covering coming from FIIs. Almost they have, they have covered almost 1 lakh short position from the index. Now, again, I'm not expecting a very exuberant and very, enthusiastic budget. But again, as far as budget is concerned, I think before the budget, FIIs and most of the traders are reducing the position, whether it is long side or short side. This is what I can sense. Again, after the budget, I think market can take a strong buzz. After the budget news and other things. After the budget, I'm expecting some kind of relief rally till the 24,000, 24,500. Again, after that, we have to see the global scenario and the dollar and the Trump news and what is happening in the global market. Then after we can predict some more upside. But still, after the budget, I'm sensing some kind of bounce back rally till 24,000.
Okay, got that. Well, Raghvendra, also wanted to get a sense from you, since you're talking about the budget as well. Have you spotted any stocks that one can keep on their radar as far as the upcoming budget is concerned?
Sakshi, I can, we can expect some uh, good news for, as I said earlier, water waste management companies, banking,
Yes,
because there's a liquidity crunch going
yes.
on. So I believe in budget there may be some liquidity pump from bond market, or maybe from dollar, or maybe some other instrument that can be used. So these two sectors, again, I'm expecting some relief in these two sectors only.
Okay, got that. Well, Raghavendra, we're also getting a lot of earnings today. Auto space is in thick zone. Bajaj Auto came out with the earnings, and we are seeing some move on the higher side. This space has been in a lot of volatility of late, and many stocks have been in a long-term consolidation as well. Look at Bajaj Auto only. We had seen the stock climb up to 13,000. It had slipped down further. Finally, the momentum is coming back after the earnings. What would you do here?
So Bajaj Auto has taken a strong support around 8600, and from there it has taken a bounce. So again, technically stock is looking good up to 9000 level, but I'm not very much sure that auto sector is going to perform for next 2 months, because there is a laggard in entire sector, and I think government is going to announce some good news for EV. So diesel and petrol cars are not going to be very much in theme after 2 3 years. So again, all the auto sector, all the auto stocks, including Bajaj, Tata Motors, Eicher Motor, and other things, there is a strong pressure on the in the entire sector. So again, there is no any much hope for entire sector. But again, maybe some few stocks which have taken a strong support, maybe they are in the oversold zone. they can give some bounce back.
They can give some bounce back. All right. Okay. Raghvendra, what about IT space as a whole? How are you looking at that one? That's been also propping up the markets higher. Today also the index is up by 1.6%. Large caps, mid caps, they're all having a good time at this time when the markets are in a volatile zone right here. What exactly is your viewpoint on the IT space as a whole? Do you have any preferred stocks?
IT sector is already in the oversold zone. We recommended to sell at
Okay.
very high level. Now we are buying. We are recommending our client to buy IT stocks, especially mid cap IT stocks like Persistent, Emphasis,
Yeah.
LTTS, SCL Tech. These three four stocks are looking good. Oversold zone. Now they can bounce back from it. Gensar is another stock which is doing good, and I think we can expect some good bounce back in the entire sector. So IT sector as a whole, I think whatever news was there from US and China, I think that has been digested, and I think the sector can bounce back from here.
The sector can bounce back from here. Okay, so that's the view as far as the IT sector is concerned. Let's look at a few stocks then. I wanted to discuss Suzlon back at 5% circuit after the earnings came through. You have been very closely tracking the renewable energy space also for our viewers, Raghavendra. What's your sense on Suzlon and the other stocks in this sector?
Suzlon, already dragged down from 85 levels. Now it is trading around 52. So I think there's we have already seen a huge selling in the Suzlon. Now stock is trading around 52, 53. Now it is a time to buy this stock and hold this stock with the stop loss of 48, 47. Again, I'm not saying that market will take a sharp bounce back, but there is a stocks who are trading with the huge oversold zone. So I think that can bounce back. So entire sector is in oversold zone, so we can expect some bounce back in entire sector.
Okay. One more sector that we have also discussed a lot in the last few days with you and the weeks with you, Raghavendra, is the EMS space. Stocks like Keynes, stocks like Dixon Technologies, Amber Enterprises, so much we have discussed. Now, suddenly, there are brokerage houses which are talking about overvaluation. There are brokerage houses that are talking about, earnings and the guidance miss, which is impacting a lot of these stocks having to be seen seriously. Jeffries today has cut the target to 5,400 for Keynes Technologies as well. Nomura has a 6,146 target on this one. Both the stocks are higher today, but again, there's a lot of volatility. There is no doubt that the sector that they are in is a futuristic sector. It may have a lot of growth potential. But are the valuations giving you comfort to enter right now?
Valuation is much higher still, I think so. But it's there is a bounce back because of the stock has been already in the oversold zone. The Nifty has taken U-turn, so entire sector is taking U-turn. So I think Dixon Technology, Keynes Technology, all these stocks are taken sharp bounce back from the lower level because they were the over they were in the oversold zone. So again, Dixon Technology, again, I'm expecting 15,700, 15,900 level. But this is the time, if you are expecting some bounce back, take a trading call. Don't buy and invest for the long term because we can get some more down level in the near term. So better wait till the budget and keep your account with the cash. I think after the budget, we will get a huge chance, maybe the good opportunity to buy all these stocks at the lower level.
Fair point right there. Another space that I wanted to discuss, Raghavendra, with you is the IPO space with you as well. Today, Dr. Agarwal's eye hospitals IPO, will open for subscription right here for investors. 3,000 odd crore rupee IPO with a fresh issue of about 300 odd crore rupees, while the rest of it is going to be offer for sale, which is a large part, 2,700 odd crore rupees right there. What is your suggestion? Should one apply or not on this one? Are there enough opportunities for investors to make money here?
Entire pharma sector is down. Apart from this IPO, there are many more companies who are listed in the market which are doing good. So better go for some other stocks. We have so many other sector stock in the same theme. So better go for some other stocks apart from this IPO.
Okay, what would you say on Cipla? That also moved up
Cipla is good.
with the yeah,
Cipla is good. Cipla has delivered a very fantastic number. So I think
yeah.
Cipla, we can buy this stock. I think the stock has already corrected from 1800 level, now hovering around 1400. It is better to buy this stock at this level, add some more at the lower level around 1300, 1400 between that. So buy this stock with the stop loss of 1340, 1350 for the target of 1600.
Okay, what else do you like apart from Cipla in the pharma space?
Sun Pharma is looking good. Sun Pharma is in a very strong counter in last 3 to 6 months. Again, the stock is trading around 1800, 1700 level. Buy this stock with the stop loss of 1600. Hold for 1900 to 2000 level by this month end.
Okay, the one stock that everybody is watching out for is ITC today, Raghavendra. And I think the indicative price that is coming in for the ITC hotel stock after the demerger is 194. Any suggestion here for investors? How should they look at both ITC and ITC hotels? For all our viewers, I would like to say that starting today for 3 days, ITC hotels will show up in your demat account in case you had the ITC stock till January 6th. So, one share of ITC hotels for every 10 shares of ITC that you already hold is what will reflect in your demat accounts today with the indicative price that is being seen at 194 right now. But what you will also know is that for the 3 days it will be there, but after that it will be excluded from the indices. Just like how Geo Finance had taken place. Remember, it had come in for 3 days, you saw the prices, but then it went away and only came in finally after listing after a couple of months. And same way, we are expecting for ITC hotels again. If there is no circuit that is hit for the next 3 days, starting today, then you could be expecting a normal listing date that will come in. Otherwise, this indicative price trading will continue for a couple of more days after T plus 3. That's how the scenario will be. So we'll just look at the price and we'll try and understand how the prices are currently for you to gauge what should your strategy be. But you will not be able to trade in these 3 trading sessions. You can only witness it at a dummy stock on the exchanges right now. Raghavendra, for ITC and ITC hotels, how do you want investors to approach these two stocks once the listing is coming through?
Definitely, if you don't have the ITC hotels, I would definitely suggest buy this stock and hold it at least for 3 4 years. Again, I'm expecting 1,000 plus level in the ITC hotel because the backing and the promoters, you can say the behind ITC is there. So ITC hotels profitable company. So I think ITC hotels one can buy. ITC is looking also very good at this point of time. So again, 418, 420 is a very strong base, and I think that is the level from where one should definitely try to accumulate this stock and hold for the long term.
Okay, got that. Raghavendra, we'll leave you at that. Thank you so much for being with us on the morning edition and helping us through with various
Thank
strategies on the markets. And we're closing to wrap up this morning trade, viewers. But right now, what's a good news is that the mid and the small caps are doing well. They pulled up. The small cap index is 1.5% higher. Remember, after nearly 2% loss yesterday, and before that, 4% loss the day before. Mid cap index is also up by about 600 odd points. So small caps now 2% higher in trade. That's where the buying action is emerging here, and that's an encouraging trend that we are looking at. Even the mid caps are above. The 52,400 odd mark right now, 1.7% higher for this one. That's where the action is being seen at this point in time. In fact, let us pull up some of the stocks right there to see where the action is emerging as far as the mid cap index and the small cap index are concerned. So let's pull up these stocks. Mid caps, let's look at where the action is. We are looking at CG Power, that's buzzing with 7% gains. Suzlon is at a 5% circuit. Persistent Systems is up. Fact is up. Oracle Financial Services is up. You have DSW Infra, IGL, Exide Industries again post earnings, RVNL, IRB, SJVN. Those are the pockets that are actually buzzing with 3.5% gains. Let us also look at how the action is concerned on the small cap index as well. So 2% higher right now for the index at large, but let's look at the stocks there. Inox Wind, so it's the renewable energy space that's buzzing Suzlon after earnings. You have SJVN, you have Irida, you have Inox Wind. All of them are buzzing. In Inox Wind now up 7%. Keep in mind all of these stocks. Raghvendra did share his views here. Keynes is buzzing in trade today. You have Credit Access Grameen coming back after those sharp losses being seen in the last few days. Some railway stocks like Ircon are coming back. IEX is also jumping. We should have asked that one because Raghvendra has been long advocating IEX. We will ask him in the next show for sure. That's also buzzing sharply in trade. 174 odd levels can be seen on this one. All right, viewers, time to wrap up the morning trading action as far as the markets are concerned. But you need to stay tuned and stay glued onto Business Today television. Throughout the course of the day, we're not only getting you market views, budget coverage, and what your strategy should be. What can you really expect from the upcoming, budget document of 2025? Strategies that market investors are adopting at this point, and of course, the earnings conversations as well. We'll be getting you the next budget conversation going with PB FinTech, and that's as far as the top management. Yashish Taya will be with us at 10 a.m. to discuss what the insurance sector, FinTech sector, and the startup sectors can expect from the upcoming budget. So stay tuned and stay glued. I'll be seeing you very shortly.
A never-before-witnessed bloodbath shook tech heavyweights around the globe on Monday. The rout started in the US with wonderkind Nvidia plunging 7